Gabbie's a really good singer.
Let's hear it.
Just where's kind of everybody at right now? You guys were on the road for a week, come back home, and kind of keep plugging through the Big Ten grind.
Yeah, we're excited for our next matchup against Northwestern to have a home game. Last week was our bye week, so we had a couple days, and then we went on the road to Michigan and had a great win there, a great team win. And so we really just want to keep the momentum rolling and keep flowing into this week.
What do you guys remember about last year's game that was here?
Versus Northwestern?
Against Northwestern, yeah.
I remember
They beat us.
Yeah, it wasn't very fun
Yeah.
afterwards. They're a good team, and they're well coached, and they have a matchup 2-3 zone that just is, they call it the Blizzard, and they're just kind of running everywhere, and they just wreak havoc for a lot of teams, and so it's something different than you see all year normally. So you have to prepare differently for Northwestern than you would have to prepare for mainly man-playing teams. So you just have to put in, maybe different sets or just practice that and try to mimic that zone with the guys or our players in practice. And so we just remember going against that, and we had some difficulties, but also there's a lot of opportunities to break down their zone. And so, we've been practicing a lot, and we've had 2 good practices to prepare for them. And so I think we're excited to go into the game.
That's the best explanation I've heard of the Blizzard. Now, it's a matchup zone, but they run around, so somebody might follow somebody through.
There's like one person that's called like the stopper. That's basically like kind of follows the ball, I would say, in a way.
Yeah, like in the high post.
Like in the high
area.
post. But ultimately, it's a 2-3 matchup zone. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you feel, even though it's different from everybody else, I mean, it seems like, I think you played them 3 times last year, 2 times the year before. I mean, do you feel like, when you flip on the Blizzard scouting report that, you feel like it's not as foreign as maybe it was, a couple years ago?
Yeah, I would say just also being a veteran team. Like, we've played against it so many times. I mean, like 3 times in 1 year last year. So I think we've gotten the hang of it. We've practiced, like, where we will be open and, like, where to cut, when not to cut here, based on the things that they do within the Blizzard. So I think we've gotten the hang of it, like, just throughout the years.
Is it more of a challenge to get your confidence back after a loss, or is it tougher to, get back to sea level after a win and kind of get back down to earth? Because you've had to do both here in the last 2 weeks.
I think after a loss, you just want to get back out on the court and play and want to kick some butt, So I think it's not hard to get motivated after a loss. I think after a big win, I think it's important not to just settle. And that's important for us. And Northwestern's a really good team, and there's no bad team in the Big Ten. Maybe they don't have the record that we've seen in the past, but that doesn't mean they've played some great teams. So we need to go in with all the momentum and build off of this Michigan game going into Northwestern.
Yeah, I would say it's like important not to get too high or too low at any point. I mean, we know anyone can beat anyone on any given day, so it's important just to come in with the same mindset, same game plan, take every game serious, and don't look over any team in the Big Ten.
You guys have played some ranked teams this year and come up short in a few games. How big was it to get that win, not only against Michigan but on the road to just get one of those big wins in the win column?
Yeah, I mean, it was huge for us. This is my 5th year here, and we haven't won at Michigan. It's a tough place to play, so it was really fun to win there. And I think anytime you play a ranked team, obviously, and if they're ranked higher, you want to win. We don't look at that too much. I think we're really prepared for that game, and we were really mission-focused for that game, and so that really helped us get the win. We had great practices leading up to that game, and I mean, obviously, you want to beat any ranked team, and we have come up short in the past, but that felt really good. We were really happy leaving there.
I think it makes it even better that we played really well on both ends, and we did the little things. We O-boarded, we defensive rebounded, and that's like what we want to do. That's like shows progress, and I think that's just important, especially in those ranked games too.
Was that third quarter for you kind of reminiscent of the UConn game, just the way you kind of went off there for a little while?
I guess. I don't know. I don't know. Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
She's just like that.
Yeah. I guess.
Gabby, the life of a shooter can be navigating a lot of highs and lows throughout the season. What have you learned about yourself, I guess, in these first couple months, and how much do you feel your veteran presence and veteran experience has, helped deal with the highs and the lows?
Yeah. I would just say confidence is huge, especially as a shooter. And I mean, I struggled, and I think I lost that a little bit. But my teammates and coaches have done a really good job of just like keeping me up and telling me to keep shooting, believing in me. And I think that's what really has brought me out of it. I've gained confidence little by little just over the last couple games. So I don't know. I think I've learned that like I can't let it affect me in other areas of the game too. So I can, if I'm missing shots, I can impact the game in other ways as well.
Is that something you share at all with the men's team? I mean, Peyton Sanford has kind of gone through a little bit of the same thing. Have you guys kind of commiserated on that level?
We actually did contact each other on that just because we both were struggling with the same type of things. And we both were just kind of telling each other, just keep shooting. Like, we've done this our whole lives. Like, nothing changed. So, like, it's just our confidence is what wasn't there. So we just had to get it back.
You hit a huge three in the late in the game. What sort of went through your mind? Do you just automatically take that shot? I mean, the fact that you took it showed a lot of intestinal fortitude, as it were.
Yeah, I mean, I've just been telling myself just be ready to shoot. And just like, even though I was missing earlier in the season, I just got to keep shooting, keep believing that it will go in. And I don't know, I just shot it and I was happy it went in.
And that's what we want Gabby to do, because that's what she's great at, and she knows that we believe in her. And so, hey, if other people don't believe in her, that's fine. Sag off of her, please. Like, we want the other teams to, because we believe in her and we know she'll knock it down.
All right, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll get started with Coach Bluder's comments on Northwestern and then open it up to you guys.
Yeah, Northwestern comes in 0-5, and you look at who they've played. They've played the top teams in the conference. I mean, Michigan, Indiana, Michigan State, Ohio State. They have had one of the most difficult conference schedules thus far of anybody. So you really have to take that with a grain of salt. Almost when a team has lost 5 in a row, or you're just like, oh man, you don't want to be the one, right? And so it's almost a little bit more scary because you know that the odds are they're going to win pretty soon. They're just too good of a team. Joe's too good of a coach for that not to happen. But they lost Burton, and Burton was a main cog of their offense and defense. I don't know if they realized how much of a cog she was until she was out of the mix, and now they're kind of going through some of those growing pains without her. But obviously, a team, Walsh is playing well. At the 4, she can post up, shoot threes again, just like Kaiser did at Michigan. Sydney Wood is playing really good as a 5th-year senior. Ironically, I'm laughing about it because my daughter is in the grad program at Northwestern, and they're in the same group together. So they are sharing group projects, and it's just, funny because you get to know kids in a different way. But anyway, it's going to be a good game, 6:30. Should be a good crowd here, and we need it.
How pivotal was the game against Michigan? Not only, in the Big Ten Saints, the losers now 2 games behind Ohio State, but for you guys, you've come up short in some of those bigger games this year, just to, get that in the win column, but also to stay close to Ohio State, early in conference play still.
Yeah, I mean, it just feels so good because like you say, you've been so close to so many of those, and you just didn't get it. So, we got Iowa State, and that was a good one. And now everybody's realizing that Illinois loss wasn't maybe as bad as what everybody thought it was, as they're in 24th in both polls now. But still, it just felt good. And I think what, Gabby said up here was so true, because it was on all ends, and it was complete 40 minutes, and it was a great focus, and it was balanced. It was, people coming off the bench. It was scoring off offensive rebounds. I mean, and that's what made it so good, is it just felt like a complete game.
Same question as I asked the girls. Is it tougher to get the team back up after a loss, or tougher to bring them back down to earth after a big win like you had Saturday?
Yeah. You know, I'm gonna cop out here and say both, because after when you lose, it's so hard. It's so hard, you know, you want to get back in the gym, but you also don't feel good about yourself. But you want to get back and play. When you win, you feel good about yourself, but you have to keep that like, oh, I want more, I want more, I want more. So I think different personalities react differently to winning and losing, and it's just finding, you know, what each kid needs, really.
Northwestern's uniqueness comes up every time that you guys play them, and it seems like that you've played them, I think, 5 times over the last 2 years. How much does this group kind of feel more prepared or better prepared, even, you know, going against something that kind of stands out from the rest of what you guys see?
Yeah, and I really think, okay, I'm going to give Joe a little trouble here. Like, I think Joe has really marketed this Blizzard well to sell a lot of tapes and a lot of books, and it's not that fancy. It's not a whole lot different than ours, but I think he makes that perception of it, and so it really helps, right? And I will be the first to tell Joe that to his face, so it's okay if you say that. I will give him a lot of trouble about that. No, I mean, you know, he's not playing as much of his zone defense. He's like 65-35 right now, where it used to be like, you know, 80-85-15. So, you know, he's not doing it as much as he used to do, but I hope he got rich off of it. I really do hope he did.
So is it just as simple as a zone with somebody running all over the place?
You know, basically a zone defense, and they put that second person in the high post area, and they'll switch on all ball screens in that area, and you know, if they go to a 4 out, she'll come out, but it's like she's there to stop all the drive action into the high post, which is you know, your susceptible area in high post is everybody wants to get the ball into the high post. And so, you know, her being there is really a big factor in that. Also from that position, she can go down and double the post if she wants to. So just some different nuances to a zone defense.
Place at this year for him.
This year it's Sydney Wood, and she hasn't, see, that's the thing is, like, Burton played there for 4 years and knew it so well. You know, it takes a little bit of time, but the thing that Sydney Wood has is she's 5'11", so she can, you know, just being taller can cover a little bit more ground and, you know, trap a little harder and those type of things.
What's going on with Melanie Daly? Is she hurt, or she hasn't played for 5 games, and I couldn't find any explanation for that.
I'm sorry, I can't even remember. I know the name, but
Such a good game here last year.
I don't even remember it right now. But yeah, I mean, she is not really a factor. I don't have the box scores with me right now.
Well,
But
she hasn't played for 5 games.
yeah, must be out. Last year, I'm just looking, she played, 14 minutes at Iowa. She was 1 for 6, 4 points. At their place,
She definitely had a good game. I remember
She had a good game
yeah,
here.
it says
Like
Iowa
20.
at Northwestern, she had a good game.
Ah.
She had 13 points, 6 for 13, 1 for 1 from 3. So it sounds like she had a good game over at their place. And that's really, don't tell her I don't remember. I feel bad about that.
We'll tell that to Joe after.
Yeah, after you tell him about
us
his
Blizzard.
tape, yeah.
I mean.
Yeah, you're right, she's played in 9 games and hasn't played, you know, she was averaging 10 minutes a game, so I'm assuming there's some kind of injury there, but I don't know what it is. Yeah.
We're getting close to the point where Monica announced last year that she
Yeah.
was coming back.
Yeah.
Has there been that conversation yet with players for next year about anybody coming back for a 5th year? Will that be coming out soon? Do you know how many will be using their 5th year, or are we still a ways from knowing about that?
Yeah, I need to probably talk to those guys again. We talk about it in their end-of-year meetings last year, you know, and really letting them make the decision on whether they want to come back or not. And so I do know the answer to that on some of them, but I'm not willing to tell that until they're willing to say it. So that's kind of how I'll leave it.
Do you have a number that might come back? I know they can't all come back, right? Because you got 2 coming in, you lose Monica, so that gets you to 14.
I think it's 16 with everybody that's in.
16.
If everybody were to come back,
Yeah.
so you can't.
Yeah, good math.
Yeah. So do you know? Do you have a number that
Well, I mean, the max would be 2 then. Yeah.
max would be 4? Max would be 3.
would it be?
You got 4 counting,
wait.
counting Davis.
Okay,
Yeah.
so we have right now, I'm sorry, I'm bleeding right now and it's bothering me. Does anyone have a Kleenex? I don't, like, a fine day to wear white. I mean, sorry about that, guys.
It's okay.
Okay, so we have
McKenna?
15 on our roster this year, right?
You're gaining 2, you're losing 1. You're gaining
We're losing.
Monica,
Right,
for sure.
right,
And you're losing, or you're gaining Jones and Etienne Johnson.
right. So where
that's,
where
so
does
that's
that take you?
16,
So that puts us at 16?
right?
If they all
If
came
everybody
back.
would come
If
back.
everybody came back,
So,
okay.
so 3 of the 4
Yeah.
could come back.
2 of the 3, right?
Well,
Counting Davis.
Molly Davis would be one of them.
Oh, yeah, she's definitely coming back, right? She came here, Molly did.
She's a 4th year, right?
Yes, when she gets to take her 5th.
Okay, so she is coming back?
She's gonna take her COVID year. Molly is definitely coming back. Molly
Okay.
came here with the intention of staying 2 years.
Okay,
Yeah, definitely.
so 2 of the other 3 could come back.
That's correct.
Okay.
I forgot Molly was in that mix. That's what I'm
Okay.
sorry, I was getting
I didn't
mixed
know
up
she was
there.
definitely coming back.
And then there's always the chance that you lose somebody in the portal too, right? I mean, that can happen as well.
Try to avoid any math with this question.
Yeah, thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Your
No
team's-
Band-Aids and no math, okay?
Your team's 12-4 right now. It's kind of a similar spot to where you are exactly a year ago. You were 8-4 at this point a year ago after
Okay.
having some games canceled. I mean, have you seen this team? I know every team kind of has its own individual journey, but have you seen the progression kind of look similar to what they were last year, or have some of the struggles been the same as they were a year ago?
You know, I feel like our teams always get better as time goes on, and I wasn't expecting that as much this year because of it being such a veteran team. Last year, there were so many ups and downs with COVID shutdowns and this game being moved and that game being moved. It was so erratic. But I think we're seeing that now that we are getting better. And even though, we returned a lot, Molly was new to the system, and she has the ball in her hands a lot as a 1 and 2 guard, and so that was different. And I've always felt like freshmen, the light bulb turns on usually for them like right after Christmas. It's like when they finally kind of get an idea of what we're trying to do with our system. And I think you're seeing that with Molly. And I also think you're seeing that with Hannah a little bit too. I'm not saying that everybody progresses at the same rate, but definitely, you can see that Hannah, what she can do for our team.
I was going to ask a few questions about Hannah. Obviously, the good game against Purdue where she had the double-double, and then good against Michigan as well. What have you kind of just seen from her since you guys have come back from break?
Well, I just think she's understanding and buying into our strengths and weaknesses a little bit more. And she's, continuing to work on her weaknesses, but she also understands what am I really good at, and I'm going to go do that. And that's what we're seeing now, is she understands that, and she's just, we all know some of the things she can do really well. Pursue the ball on offense, offensive rebound, post moves, drives to the basket. She does all those things amazingly well. She's an incredible athlete.
You guys have been kind of searching a little bit for a 4 or 5 backup, and now it kind of looks like she could be the one to take it over. How big of a boost is it for the team if she can come in, give 8 points, 4 rebounds a game off the bench, something like that?
Yeah, absolutely. And she has assumed that role for us right now. Now that could, change as the 5s. What happens with Addie, AJ, and Sharon, I don't know. As they progress, could change. But right now, that's what we are sitting at. Going into Northwestern, that Hannah is our backup 4 and 5.
You always look at freshmen, just kind of how long it takes for them to adjust to the college game, whether it's practice or actual games. Have you seen, does it look like, the game's kind of slowing down for her a little bit more and she's starting to kind of get adjusted to everything?
I agree with you 100%, Kyle. I think that's exactly it. At first you just kind of do what we say instead of reading what the defense is doing. And once it becomes a habit to do what we say, now I can slow down and read the defense too. And that's when you become the better player, in my opinion.
All right, guys. Thank you.
Thanks, you guys. Appreciate it.